See, it took me a really long time to figure out what was actually really important for trading to become profitable and what was just nonsense. I was sitting there just as you are, thinking to myself, I have a million ideas, I've watched all these YouTube videos, like what is actually important to learn how to trade and what isn't? I had somebody telling me you need to trade 10 pips a day, someone else saying to be profitable, don't ever leverage, one person saying trade SMC, one person saying don't use a fib, another person saying use a fib, one person saying use trend lines, one person saying don't use trend lines. I had all this knowledge and it just felt like almost every idea you could think of led to profitability, or every idea you can think of led to you not being profitable. So I was trying to figure out what was right, what isn't right, and now that I am profitable, I can show you what is right and what is not right. So it took me a while to actually figure out and try to decipher through all this, nonsense, some of this actual golden knowledge, and to try to figure out what was right and what isn't. And for me, it took a while for me to get through that. So now that I am profitable, I would like you to not have to go through all that, and hopefully you can skip some of that process by following some of the stuff I'm going to show you today in this video, and hopefully that will actually speed up your process to become profitable and make it a lot easier for you. So now that I am profitable, I realize that profitability only really comes down to 3 or 4 really simple things. There's obviously a whole bunch of other things that I have in my knowledge, and that comes with time, but realistically, if I had to break it down, it would only really come down to 3 or 4 really simple things. So today I'm going to share with you those simple things. So the very first thing, just like anything in life, is you need one simple structure, just one simple idea, one simple strategy just to get you started. So the first thing you need to do is find a pattern or a strategy that works at least more than 50% of the time. At very basic, that is the very first thing you need. You need to find something that works more than 50% of the time. The closer that you can get this to 100% of the time, the better. You'll never find something that works 100% of the time. That's the way the Forex markets are designed. If that were the case, everyone would be a millionaire, and then, $1 million wouldn't be a lot of money because everyone would be a millionaire. So, even if you find something that works 51% of the time, it will work. The closer you get to 100, the better. And I'm gonna visualize this for you, and I'm gonna show you visually how this works. So let's jump right into the chart. All right, so we're here on the whiteboard, and I'm gonna show you, but before I show you, if you're looking for a great broker to use, if you're into trading, if you're just getting into trading, and you're looking for a broker to use to trade with, to deposit some real money or to use demo, I highly recommend using Hanko Trade. I personally use them. I have several accounts with Hanko Trade, and I like to use them on a daily basis. If you'd like to use a new broker, or if you haven't had a broker yet, I highly recommend signing up with Hanko Trade. They have great spreads, great leverage. You're gonna love them. You can sign up really easy and super fast. The link will be down in the description if you're interested. If I were to mark out just a chart here of profitability, if you're a profitable trader, your chart's gonna look something like this over the time, right? Let's say this is money over here, and this is time over here. Over time, you're gonna make money. Now, even if that's just a 51% profitability, you're still gonna make money. Because let's say you take one trade, you go up 51% on that trade. And we're just going by percentages here. So let's say, this works 51% of the time. Your chart's gonna look something like this. You're gonna go up 51% and you're gonna go down 50%. So you're not gonna hit the quite bottom, but you're going to go down 50, or actually, sorry, we're gonna go down 49%. I don't know what I'm doing here. You're going to go down 49%, but then when you go up again, you're gonna be up here, right? So that extra 1% right here is going to be profit. So even if you find something that works 51% of the time, you'll still be profitable. Obviously, it's gonna be slower, and this is why it's good to find something closer to 60, 70, 80% profitability. But even if you find a pattern that works 55% of the time, 51% of the time, you'll still be profitable. Because then your chart will look something like this, right? Let me just continue to draw this out. So this is a chart that's profitable, because as you can see, if you were to draw that line through here, you're gaining. Now, obviously, as that increases, the better it gets. So for example, the profitability I have right now on one of my strategies is around 70%. So we go up 70% and we go down about 30%, right? We go up 70%, we go down about 30%. We go up, now obviously, it doesn't look exactly like this. Obviously, sometimes we have like this go on, sometimes we have that, and then this, and sometimes we have this, and then that. But overall, if you were to mark out the line, we have a nice rate of profitability going up. So the closer you get to, 100%, let's say you had even 99 profitability, it would look something like this, right? And that's really good. But nobody has 99% profitability, it's just not possible. So first step is to find something that works, more than 50% of the time. And, that can be really easy. All it takes is, you could either find a strategy that's already out there that works, or you could go to the chart yourself and just set some really simple rules for you. For example, you could take a look at this and you could ask yourself, why did price push down here? Well, you could maybe say we had a candle here that had a wick bigger than its body, and then we immediately had a engulfing candle right here. This red candle closed below this wick. So that could be your strategy. And if that works 60% of the time, then you'll be good. Because let's say this happens again, look for the same pattern, right here. We had a wick that was bigger than its body, and then engulfing candle right after. Price ended up moving down. So as long as you can find something like that, but you obviously have to do a lot of back testing and figure out what works. If you find something that works more than 50% of the time, you'll be profitable. Because if you apply these next tips that I'm going to tell you, trading gets really simple. So next tip I'm going to tell you is you have to be strict as Don't trade anything else but that one pattern that you choose. You have to obviously make sure that this pattern is profitable, and you can work that out by back testing it. But if you come up with your pattern, make sure you are only trading that pattern on that one account that you want to trade with, let's say. If you want to have a different account for a different strategy, go ahead. But if you want to maintain profitability, you have to be strict and you have to use the same pattern every time. Don't let any other trade get in the way. Don't let anything anyone else tells you to get in the way. Trade the same pattern every time. Profitable trading should be boring. Okay, so you know that feeling you get when you take a trade that you're really not too sure about, and you're probably risking a little bit more than you should, but you want to trade anyways because you have this feeling. Personally, when I take trades like that, I get this weird burning sensation in your gut, this kind of fear, this kind of thrill that's like, oh, I really shouldn't be doing this, but you do it anyways. 99% of the time when I get that feeling and I'm a little kind of on edge about the trade and my eyes are glued to the charts, I'm watching every little move, usually when that happens, I end up losing the trade. You know, it's been a while since I've done that. Yes, once in a while, here and there, I will take a trade like that. I am human, but 99% of the time, I usually end up losing it. Good thing is, I've come to a point in my trading where I don't risk more than I need to. So usually with those trades, I won't really lose a lot, but sometimes I will take a trade. I will take a trade that's not a part of my strategy that I just think will happen, and most of the time I end up losing it. I'm still working on getting rid of those trades myself, but once in a blue moon, I do that, and that's totally fine because I can afford to, because my profitability is good. Now, the best trades I have, the good trades that I have, are the trades that are really simple, really strict setup, very boring. I take the trade, I don't even look at my phone for the next couple hours. I set my take profit. Next thing you know, I come back, I'm up 4 times my risk, 3 times my risk. Usually I end up closing it or I let it hit my take profit. But 99% of the time, it's one of those trades when I take less risk. It's very strict, so I'm not worried. I'm not even thinking about the trade. I end up just seeing it later most of the time. You know, I shouldn't be staring at the chart, biting my nails, hoping, oh man, I really hope it goes my way. Because that's the same feeling you get when you're gambling. If you've ever gambled before, you get that same feeling. You do not want to have that same association, that same feeling whatsoever when you're trading. It used to be like that when I first started trading. It was always like a roller coaster, some sort of thrill. I felt like I was like casino trading. You don't want to have that at all. Trading should be very strict, very boring. After all, we're here to make money. We're not here to have a good night out trading. You know, it should be, we're making money. You know, ask yourself, is my trading boring? Or am I like sitting there at the charts, having this huge thrill when it goes into profit, or feeling really scared? You should not feel scared when your trade goes into drawdown. You should tell yourself, If it loses, it loses. If it wins, it wins. That's really all it is. And the next thing I'm going to tell you is you should lose and you should win, you know, and you should win and you should lose. Like your profitability isn't just going to be wins all the time. You're going to have a lot of losses. Sometimes you'll have a whole day of losses. Sometimes you'll have a whole day of wins. You know, there's a lot of variance in the market. So you're not going to have, you know, the same win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. No, it's going to be very random. So if you start losing for a whole day, don't just switch up your strategy. Don't think this isn't profitable. Let it play out for a year. Let it play out for a couple years. Like, you never know. Profitability takes long term. And lastly, make sure you stick with a specific risk. Let's say you're only risking 1%. Please only risk 1%. Don't switch it up, because when you start switching it up too much, you can switch it up a little bit. But let's say I take, you know, a 1% trade, I win 1%, and then the next trade I take a 10% trade. If I lose that, you know, now I got to take another 10 trades just to win back what I lost, and I have to win all of this. So please make sure you're sticking to the same risk. Don't switch it up. If you do that, you will not be profitable, you know, and that probably sucks to hear, but you will not be profitable. Like, you want to make sure you're trading enough risk and percentage of your account to where you feel absolutely no fear placing a trade. That's how confident you should be in losing. You have to be confident in losing. You have to be so confident in losing that you could place a trade and think, I will lose this amount of money if I trade this. And you have to be okay with that. Because the trades that I've, you know, suffered a lot with is those trades when I risk a little too much and then I'm second guessing myself. I'm going over the chart again, trying to make sure it is the way I want it. No, you should not. You should place it. If it loses, and that's it. Because the worst thing is taking a trade, risking a little too much, and then backing out of the trade, and next thing you know, it goes way into profit and you missed out on all this money. You don't want to have to deal with that at all. That will throw off all your trading. So you should be okay with taking every single trade that is a part of your strategy without fear. That should be it, you know, as long as it's within your strategy. And that being said, also don't overtrade. Like, don't trade every single thing all day long. You know, trading is a long-term thing. It's a timely thing. There will always be another trade tomorrow.